This week on Great British Menu, 3 of Northern Ireland's most exciting chefs.
These have been through the wars, Great British Menu Wars.
Competing for the 3rd time, Chris McGowan, who has the banquet in his sights.
I know how important it is to get a good score today, you know.
Daniel Clifford's head chef, Mark Abbott.
You know, this is the one that everyone wants to win, isn't it?
And Eddie Atwell, for whom local produce is king.
A lot of elements, everything needs to be right for this one, really.
In the year of the Queen's 90th birthday, the chefs are celebrating the everyday Great Britons honoured throughout her reign and competing for a chance to cook at a banquet at the Palace of Westminster. Yesterday, Mark's fish dish impressed veteran Michael.
It's another 10. It was so impressive. Congratulations. Phenomenal cooking.
Netting him his second 10. Chris moved up to 2nd place, while Eddie slipped to 3rd.
After the starter, I was 1 point ahead of Chris. After this fish course, I'm 1 point behind. Let's just hope tomorrow brings something else.
Eddie now has to plate a winning main course to stay in the running.
I'm still here, but the push is on, the push is on.
With Eddie and Chris fighting to catch Mark.
Chris, it looks like you're pulling out all the stops today, mate. I've seen what's been produced in this kitchen over the last 2 days. If I'm going to be in the game, I've got to raise the game.
The competition is on.
Chris is banging out about 14 different things. She's turned into Mark today.
OK, Mark, you're due the pass now.
Give me 1 minute to the pass, please.
And under control?
Yeah, maybe I have no sweat left.
Oh, please, come on, play the game.
The challenge for the chefs is creating dishes that showcase the transformation of British cuisine during the Queen's historic reign and are a fitting legacy to our modern Elizabethan era. Judging this week is Michelin-starred Michael O'Hare. As a banquet champion himself, he's expecting nothing but the best.
I've been really excited with the food that have been presented so far this week, and I think maybe 1 or 2 of them have got a chance to get a main course at the banquet.
I've got a lot to catch up with now with these guys, and hopefully I can get this.
There's only a point in it, Eddie. You mean that's absolutely nothing in this kitchen, mate. You're the body catch, Mark. You mean 2 10s, mate. Hopefully that you have an absolute disastrous day today. No disrespect, you mean you're a great guy.
Yes, I'm ahead, but at the same time, I need to produce a fantastic plate of food. Like, if I overcook the beef, well, it's game over, isn't it?
Mark Abbott is first. With 2 10s already on the board, he's confident, but feeling the pressure of delivering a winning main course as well.
I'm nervous about today because I've had a fantastic start to the competition, and I kind of feel now that I need to keep that up.
Mark, 10 for your starter, a 10 for your fish course. You must be feeling pretty confident.
For me, I'm walking in here like it's my starter course, and it's all guns blazing, and I'm out to prove a point.
What's it called?
So my dish is called Graves for Glory. Britain's renowned for British beef, and now we're producing Wagyu beef.
What are you going to do with it?
I'm roasting it in a pan. I'm going to be using the tail.
Yep.
This has been brined. Then I'm going to pressure cook it in a red wine-based sauce.
Similar to how an oxtail will be done.
Exactly. And then over here, we have some bone marrow. This is going to be turned into smoked bone marrow espuma.
Right, OK.
Something a little bit different is beef tendons. I'm going to slice it very finely on a meat slicer, dehydrate it until it's crispy, and then fry it, and it puffs up like a poppadom.
Right, OK.
And on the side, I'm going to make a little foule de brique.
Feuille de brique, that's the crispy pastry.
Crispy pastry, rump tartare at the very bottom, and then a slice of tongue on the top to cap it.
What are you doing with the vegetables?
So the reason I've introduced sweet corn into the dish is because the cattle's fed on maize. And maize is a derivative of sweet corn. You're going to have your sweet corn salad. These beautiful mushrooms, what I'm going to do is represent a bone marrow.
This is the king oyster mushroom.
King oyster. I'm going to hollow the mushroom out in the middle.
Right.
That's going to be stuffed with a ragu oxtail, capped with bone marrow, and then roasted.
Do you think you've made it too simple?
No.
It sounds phenomenal. So once again, Mark, doing so many components and having so many different cooking techniques. I just hope that he stays true to his style and he cooks everything perfectly.
Next is Chris McGowan, who's hoping he can repeat the success he enjoyed in last year's competition.
Last year on the regionals, I got 4 10s. I want to try and do the same again this year, really.
Chris,
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Good. Yeah, good, good, good.
So you feeling good going into the main course?
I am. You know, I care passionate about this dish and about the produce that I'm using.
So what is this dish? What's it called?
This is for Rib and the Empire.
For Rib and the Empire?
Yeah, this is a play on words on the motto for the OBE for God and the Empire.
So what are you cooking?
We've got the rack of venison, which
Right.
I'm just going to roast simply. I've got some haunch here, which I'm going to basically just slow braise. And then I'm going to use that to stuff a slow roasted onion. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take a little bit of the liver, some of the venison trim, and we're going to make a sausage from that.
Okay.
This is a whiskey from Connemara. It's slightly peaty, a bit smoky. So we're just going to use a little bit of that in the sausage as well. And then we've got some beetroots, and I'm going to lightly smoke the beetroots, and then just kale, and that's it, really.
Sounds exciting, Mark.
Sounds beautiful.
Good luck.
Good, thank you very much.
So from what Chris has said about his dish, it's got some great flavours. It's got smoked beetroots, the homemade sausage with the whiskey in it. And I think if he pulls this off, it could be his day.
Last up is Eddie Atwell. Having been marked down for a fish course that was lacking in character and considered too classical, he's determined to show more of his personality today.
The main course is really going to be a reflection of my cooking. It's about the growing and the local and the foraging. I'm going to show that today and hopefully nail it.
Eddie, how you feeling about yesterday?
Yeah, no, I can take it in the chin. It was probably out of my depth, but today this is my thing.
So what's the dish called?
So it's called the Bounty of Barons Court.
Barons Court is?
Barons Court, so it's a stately home with royal links in Northern Ireland. The link for me is the love of the countryside. There's so many country estates. We get these great produce and these great treats from it.
Right, okay, so what are you actually cooking?
So I'm cooking venison today.
Chris is doing venison also.
Chris is on the venison too, yeah. Yeah, so I'm using the short saddle.
Yep.
So we'll be taking the loins off the short saddle and
Yep.
then I'll be going into backpack bags. A little bit of the dulse and some butter. So I'll be using it as my season. That's a coastal seaweed from Ireland. So.
Right.
The next bit will be the actual haunch. So that's going to be brined and then the pressure cooker.
Right, okay.
So the garnish, it's the humble kale for me.
And with these carrots?
Carrots, I'm going to be steaming those in the bag. Again, using a little bit of the dulse. We'll be making a wee carrot powder and a little jam for a bit of piquance to the dish. The main starch for me is the dock pudding.
What is dock pudding?
So dock pudding for me, they're cooking off barley, and then it'll be finished through with the nettles, the docks, and the wild garlic as well.
Is this a pudding like a Christmas pudding, a suet pudding?
No, it'll be loose, more like it'll be like a risotto, but we're using pearl barley.
Excellent. Right, this
you.
looks more like you, Eddie.
I hope so.
Don't you
Hope
agree?
so.
Totally. It's the ingredients and the technique. It just sounds fantastic.
Okay, guys, let's see some great food.
Absolutely. Cheers, chef.
Really great to see Eddie cooking the food that he wants to cook. You can see when he looks at the box of ingredients that that's where his heart is. And coming off the back of his low fish score, I think he could really improve on this.
As cooking gets underway, Chris's impressive track record in the main course is the talk of the kitchen.
Last year, I got 4 10s for my main course in the judges' chamber.
You got 4 10s last year.
You probably get 4 10s this week even before you get to the chamber. Do you know what I mean?
Not the way I'm feeling today.
Mark is the only chef cooking beef for his main. He's using 5 different parts of the wagyu: the rump, the bone marrow, the tongue, tendons, and the tail.
What's your big worry today?
I'm leaving the water ballast aside today. Going old school. I'm cooking it in the pan. If you don't get that cooking right, it's game over, isn't it?
For the tail, Mark sweats down diced vegetables, then reduces a little vinegar, before adding garlic and fresh herbs. In a separate pan, Mark browns the tail, before adding to the vegetables, along with the veal stock and red wine, and leaves to simmer.
You know, this wagyu is special, and, you know, I'm here to glorify this animal.
Next, Mark prepares the tendons by slicing as thinly as possible and dehydrating. He'll deep fry and season at the last minute. He also prepares his rump cap. He'll roast half and then use the rest for the tartare.
Me and Eddie are behind, so we're just pushing on, mate. We know we need to catch up. We can't let you get out of sight, you know? Me and Eddie did contemplate locking you in your room last night.
I wonder who was outside my door at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Both Eddie and Chris have chosen to use venison in their dishes.
Boys, I think I missed the brief this year. I didn't know we're all supposed to do venison.
Did you not know it was a venison show?
No.
Okay.
Especially the hunch as well.
Chris is serving his venison 3 ways: as a roasted rack, as a filling for a hollowed onion, and as a sausage.
Chris is banging out about 14 different things. Just turned into Mark today. So, you know what I mean?
First, he trims his rack of venison. For the stuffed onion filling, Chris adds browned venison haunch to a pressure cooker with softened vegetables. Then fresh thyme, juniper berries, port, red wine and venison stock before leaving to braise. Eddie is also working on his venison, preparing both the loin and the shoulder. Having been marked down for being too classical, Eddie has gone back to cooking from the heart.
This is the main course, but don't do well in this one, then, you know, I as well sign myself off anyway, you know, but I'm still here. I still want to cook with these guys here, but the push is on, like, the push is on.
Back in Northern Ireland, Eddie went to Altnagelvin Hospital in Belfast to meet a Great Britain, a woman who wanted to be a nurse from the age of 3. Kathy Glass was awarded an MBE for her work saving patient lives by cutting hospital waiting times.
This is where I worked as a ward sister. At that time, we had a lot of patients waiting for a long, long time. So I came out of my ward sister's role and came into a management role to try and change some of those things.
You've seen a positive impact on the results?
Our patients get to surgery quickly, but with it, we also are able to show that there are less people who actually die after hip surgery because people wait for surgery for a long time and they can die waiting, and we've shown the reduction then in mortality because of that.
I suppose it was nice to get an MBE to show your appreciation for the work you have done here. How did that feel for you to receive that?
It was a real surprise because I just got a letter in the post, so I had no knowledge that it was going to come or that anybody had nominated me. But it's been great for the team here to get it as well because they all celebrate it with me.
Is that the award there?
Yep, this is it. This is what I received on the day, so
Fantastic.
it's nice, isn't it? Keep it open all the time, see it all the time.
As Eddie's dish pays homage to the hard work and commitment of everyday Great Britons like Kathy, he wanted her verdict on his venison and dock pudding.
So many things that I've never tried before, but they are just delicious.
Do you reckon this would get me to the banquet?
I can't imagine anything that would be any better.
In the kitchen, Eddie works on his braised venison. To diced vegetables, he adds brined venison haunch before seasoning with fresh thyme and rosemary. Finally, he pours in fresh blackberries, port and red wine.
Eddie, what's your risk today, boss?
Try not to take too many risks, but same as always. Piece of venison, you know yourself, you can try it out.
He then starts a venison sauce before moving on to something veteran Michael has never eaten before, dock pudding.
Eddie,
Chef, how are you?
and what are you making?
Have a nice stock on there now. I'm just getting on them with dock puddings. These are my dried leaves. It's the nettles, the docks. That's going to go through the cooked barley. We've got to sweat it off. Just some cabbage, a little bit of leek, and then some soft-boiled eggs to bind through.
So the dried dock leaves, these are kind of a herb that it's going through it almost,
It's
right?
like the herb, and it's almost, as I said, it's almost a spice. You get that wee sort of ting of the nettles.
You've got quite a lot going on under control?
There is. I think I'm more under control today anyway. It definitely feels like there's a couple of degrees lower, so
getting used to
we'll
it,
keep
Chef.
on it. Yeah, maybe I've no sweat left.
Mark is busy preparing his vegetable accompaniments. To represent the maize that's fed to Wagyu cattle, he's serving sweet corn 3 ways: as a dehydrated powder, a pickled and charred salad, and scorched baby corn. He also works on his Wagyu tongue
The Wagyu, yeah?
How beautiful that.
and renders down bone marrow, which he'll turn into a foam.
So Mark, what are you on with?
Here's the Wagyu tongue, which we talked about earlier. So would you like to taste a little bit?
I'd love to. Guys, have you tried this tongue?
Have indeed.
Tried the tongue, yeah.
Hang on, I give you 2 10s.
Yes.
And you gave them the tongue first.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So remind me.
Literally going to put that inside a little fouled brick
Yeah.
with the tartare in the bottom, covered with the tongue.
To be like a little crispy parcel on it.
Exactly.
And you're happy with that?
I'm very happy with that.
Okay.
Next, Mark makes the pastry case for his feuille de brick, then bakes in the oven, while he prepares the Wagyu rump tartare. Chris has started work on his venison sausages, which he flavours with white pepper, paprika, ground juniper, and Irish whiskey. Now for the tricky part, filling the sausage skins.
Oh, please, come on, play the game.
Next, he smokes his beetroot and stuffs the onions with the braised venison mix.
What you got ready?
So this is a little venison sausage.
So what you got in this?
So we've got a little bit of diced liver in there. We've got those oats and that whiskey from Connemara in there. We've got some onion, a little bit of back fat, obviously the venison trim. We kind of do it in a Cumberland sausage style format, you know?
Yeah. Ian?
So these are the little slow roasted onions, and the haunch has been braised down. Little brunoise, celeriac and carrot in there.
And the mashed potato is going to cover that?
Yeah, I'm just going to pipe that over the top of it. Bake it like a little shepherd's pie, but rather than do it in a dish, let the onion be the vessel for it, you know?
Okay.
Eddie is serving his venison with carrots 3 ways: braised, as a dehydrated powder, and most unusually, as a jam.
So that's a jam?
Maybe like a marmalade more than anything, really.
One of the elements of Eddie's dish is a carrot jam. I was really concerned because when I hear the word jam, I just think sweetness, and I thought it was going to be too sweet. But it's actually really delicious. It's got a little bit of cooking to do, but I'd like to see it finished product.
Mark's first to serve his Graze for Glory, showcasing 5 different parts of Wagyu beef. He finishes by stuffing his king oyster mushrooms and sears the rump in the pan. Feuille de brick pastry filled with Wagyu rump tartare and a slice of Wagyu tongue is served on a bed of onion cress. First onto the plate, white mushroom puree topped with shredded braised Wagyu tail and salad of pickled and charred sweet corn with chopped corn nuts.
Okay, Mark, you're due at the pass now.
Sorry, Chef, I'm going to be 1 minute to the pass, please.
Next, a king oyster mushroom served with Wagyu tail mix and a disc of seared bone marrow.
Tender looks incredible, man.
On with charred baby corn and watercress leaves and slices of Wagyu rump. Whipped smoked bone marrow is next, a drizzle of Wagyu jus
Mark, you're 3 minutes over now.
I'm on the pass now, Chef.
and a dusting of corn powder, topped with a shard of crispy Wagyu tendon.
Happy?
Happy, Chef.
Chefs?
Yeah, it looks a stunning piece of food again.
Looks incredible, man. So many elements again.
Well, it looks great, but proof's in the flavour, huh?
Yes, Chef.
Should we go and taste this?
Yes, please.
Happy how it went?
I'm very happy, yeah.
Should we try this first, do you think?
Definitely get on that one there.
So this is the tongue.
And you're happy with the contrast of the cooked and the raw?
With tongue, for me, it's the most intense I've ever tasted it. That counteracts with the rawness of the beef.
That's fun.
It's a nice blend.
Yeah.
And the cuisson or temperature of the beef, is that what you're looking to achieve?
Yes, and the way I like to eat Wagyu, the cooking of that is perfect.
That's good, isn't it?
It's just holding so much moisture inside it too, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the mock bone marrow, right?
Yes, so that's a king oyster mushroom.
The texture of that mushroom. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, it holds a lot of moisture. I like the way it plays along with the depth of the oxtail.
I'm not the biggest lover of the oyster mushroom, in that it can be a wee bit chewy for me.
This is your tendons.
Yes, Chef.
You're happy with how they've turned out?
Yeah, I am very happy with them.
It's good, and it does exactly what it says on the tin, doesn't it?
Talk me through the salad, because there's a bit going on here, isn't there? What's in
Yeah,
here?
so you get the white mushroom puree at the bottom, the sweet corn, so I've got some blow-torched, and then I've got some lightly pickled.
That's
Nice drops some crispy bits through there too. Yeah, that's a nice blend.
Definitely. Yeah.
If this dish was to make it to the banquet, do you think they'd be able to eat that plate of food and understand the story that you're telling?
Yes, I do.
Gore?
Just for a couple of niggles, still a 9. So I mean,
Yeah.
I still think that's absolute quality.
Yeah. I'd go and eat.
I'm really happy with that dish. I feel that's a 10.
Chris is next to plate up his dish for Rib and the Empire.
Hi, G. How you doing, boys?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Another fantastic piece of cooking, mate.
It's hard to fault, man.
Onto a board, Chris's take on shepherd's pie. Baked onion stuffed with a venison haunch ragu, topped with mashed potato.
Chris, it looks like you're pulling out all the stops today, mate.
I've seen what's been produced in this kitchen over the last 2 days. If I'm going to be in the game, I've got to raise the game.
First onto the plate, beetroot smoked with chamomile and pine, crispy kale, and a grating of fresh hazelnut.
Would one of you guys love to bring me in the trolley?
Spaceship.
Chris covers the plate with a cloche and pipes in more smoke.
Definitely a dramatic entrance, isn't it?
Don't know if I expect Mork to jump out of it or what.
Onto a sharing board goes Chris's handmade venison sausage, flavoured with Irish whiskey, followed by a rack of venison. A venison sauce with fresh blackberries is served separately.
It's quite a dramatic entrance, Chris.
Listen, we're there to spoil the Great Britons, and hopefully that's what I've done today.
Chefs, what do you think?
It's impressive, eh?
It's certainly dramatic and it looks completely stunning.
Got you worried?
Yes.
Let's go and eat this.
Okay.
As a main course for a banquet for Great Britons, you think this hits the brief? You think they'll understand it?
I hope so. The title and also how we bring it out in the trolley, there's a sense of occasion to that.
For me, this nails the brief. I think we should start with this. It just wants to be eaten, doesn't it?
Like I said, yeah. So this is baked onions, still baked onions.
Yeah.
Not too sticky.
No, not for me, no, chef.
You get the venison flavour, sweetness of the onion, which is cooked to perfection.
You get a wee pop of carrot every so often.
It's beautiful.
And you think that'll be easy enough for the people to eat it?
I think so. I could have put it in a pot, but I just wanted to do something different.
Do you get the whiskey flavour in that sausage?
I think so, chef.
And there's nothing more you can comment on that sausage except stunning. Perfection.
It's fantastic.
And finally, onto the rib.
Yeah.
Star of the show.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it cuts like butter.
Initially, you get that got a real good char on the outside as well.
Onto the beetroot. Can you taste that smokiness?
I do, chef. Yeah, I get it.
It's a plate of food that you want another one.
Absolutely.
So what would you score it?
I'd love to get a 9.
There's only one score I can give that, and that's 10 all day long.
Last to the pass is Eddie, with his dish Bounty of Baron's Court. He finishes his loin of venison in the pan and cooks the last of the kale with the heritage carrots.
Faultless.
Yeah?
That's perfection on a plate.
Really? Phenomenal. Good man. That means a lot.
First onto a board is lichen moss, followed by kale and the shoulder of Baron's Court venison.
What's that? You're rolling it in, Eddie?
So with my puff barley, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't puff.
Eddie garnishes with more lichen moss, Douglas fir and carrot puree. Onto a plate, Eddie's dock pudding, cooked barley flavoured with dried, foraged dock leaves and nettles.
Everything okay, Eddie?
Yep, all good.
Next, more kale, heritage carrots and slices of venison loin rolled in dehydrated carrot powder. Eddie finishes the plate and the board with carrot jam. Venison and blackberry sauce is served in mini saucepans.
Just to share this one, then. The little braise.
You're a grafter, Eddie. Look at this. Gents, thoughts?
I think it'll taste amazing.
This is the man himself on the plate.
Right, should we go and eat this?
Absolutely.
Main course done.
Yeah, finally.
Feeling better?
Yeah, much better now.
I've been wanting to try this dock pudding.
Dock.
And you think you can taste those herbs, those dock leaves?
It's a blend of a mix together, you know.
Texturally, it's nice, but I don't get the dock. I don't get it.
I'm completely the same. It's not blowing me away.
Yeah.
The venison, the cooking temperature, you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm a bit...
He's cooked it on the rare side, which I absolutely love.
Yep.
I mean, I think he's got that spot on.
This is the carrot jam.
So it's the carrot jam or marmalade.
It's quite a bitty consistency. Is that what you wanted?
I wanted to filter through the dish.
I think it marries well with the haunch.
We've got the braised venison on the outside.
So as I said in there, hands up. My barley didn't puff as I wanted to.
To be honest, I really like it.
There's a really nutty flavour to that. It's lovely.
If you had to score it, out of 10.
I'd like to get an 8 or a 9 this time again.
You're right, boss.
Yes, absolutely.
How are you, mate?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed cooking that.
We could see that that was you on a plate.
Thanks, guys.
There was a lot of love in there. For the food, anyway, you know what I mean? No, there's no love lost for you with 2 10s, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Oh, it's like that, is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, I'm glad.
Hello, chefs.
Hello, chef.
I'm going to start with you, Mark. And your dish, Grace for Glory. The Wagyu beef was cooked perfectly. And I also enjoyed the bone marrow spuma. The charred baby corn, I thought that was delicious, and I tasted almost more of sweet corn than sweet corn itself. It really elevated it. The tendons were crispy, and I thought really clever. But for me, although the tongue, it shone, but I didn't have enough of it. Most of all, I think if it were to go to a banquet, the guests wouldn't understand the different elements or where it was coming from. I think it needs some visual key, because it is unusual and it is clever cooking. Next, Chris. And your dish for rib and the Empire. I loved the presentation. It added a kind of regal feel to it that I think really hits the brief. The sausage was phenomenal. I really enjoyed the taste of that whiskey. I think also making that sausage from scratch shows a real craft, a real artistry to it. The slow-cooked haunch in the onion, exceptional. The venison I thought was cooked beautifully. And the beetroot actually benefited from the smoke. And finally, Eddie, with your dish, Bounty of Baron's Court. It was great to see you back cooking your type of food. I love the braised venison. One of my favourite elements was actually the carrot jam. I liked how coarse it was, and you're right, it does run through the whole dish. The duck pudding was very unusual for me. I'd not tasted that before, but I enjoyed it. However, I think the presentation let you down on this. And I know the look that you wanted was that forest floor look. It's not somewhere I want to eat from. It tasted much better than it looked. And I think if you can refine that presentation, you could score highly with this. To the scores. Eddie, I'm scoring you 8. Mark, I'm giving you a score of 9. Chris, for your dish, I'm giving you a 10. I thought that was an exceptional plate of food, and I thought it was bang on brief. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you, chef.
Well deserved.
So we'll pass the halfway mark. I'm looking forward to desserts.
Thank you.
Thanks, chef.
Good luck.
Thank you, chef.
Yeah, boy. Good fuck. Nice one.
With only one course to go, Eddie remains in third place. Mark still leads, while Chris is second.
A 10. Can't believe it. Absolutely blown away by it. All great scores.
Michael, he felt I didn't nail the brief. I can understand where he's coming from, and that's where the point's been lost. No one's dead in the war yet.
No. All to play for.
For the main course, I'm over the moon. You know, it's fantastic. You know, again, what a standard in there. Unbelievable.